Everyone is doing Aq40. I need to talk about it because it's rough. This VOD that we're watching today, almost 3 hours long. You could do multiple Aq40s in that time. This raid has done multiple Aq40s in that time, so what happens? Let's talk about it. Risen is a guild that has been together for a very long time, through multiple versions of the game. And obviously, it's not always the same people, but a lot of these guys have stuck around. I think that's really cool. Really thankful for the Risen community back in the good old days. But now it's time to trash talk, right? Like the old boomers, I really feel like it's a case of early onset. I don't know, man. Like um, the things that people forget, right? The basics. In my brain, it's just so ingrained, some of the deaths, but maybe the Horde Zug has taken over. So first boss, nothing really to mention. I feel like it was handled pretty well here. So buffs were taken out on first boss, definitely a little scary, but again, feel like mechanics were handled pretty well, where the fakes were killed and then the real. So again, Amunir is the perspective we're watching here. Good player. So it's good that we can watch this perspective. Tok almost dies, but they handle it. So the problem for Risen and so many other groups too that I've seen are these Guardians. When a Guardian gets low health, it charges to the other one. And you kind of see there, like, they have crazy strong damage. Throughout the start of this raid, while they still have world buffs, you definitely can feel the strong damage. So what happens here? Way too close to the edge. This person right here, I think this was the pull, but the bottom pack got pulled, so gotta just stay on the far right side there. And good focus here by Munir of quickly killing that brainwasher. They were able to not cleave down their friend Grizz here, but they just needed to reposition much better here. Tickles got knocked away, died. Not sure if he had Lip available. Same with Paper. Lip is definitely the play here to not die. But just needed to understand the mechanic of like getting deep against walls and killing these all at the same time. And then Shard calls to jump down, and someone else dies from the jump down. So a little bit tragic circumstances here. So from there on, it's just a drip of buffs until there is no more buffs to be dripping. And again, on these packs, I feel like it's just a basic understanding of not killing all of these the same, or not killing them individually. You want to kill these mobs at the same time and be deep in a corner where you're pressing back pedal over and over and over. So the basic thing to understand on those mobs there is killing them at the same time and pressing back pedal deep in a corner where you're not going to get knocked around, keeping them stacked. Or you pull one way out, kill it where they aren't going to be able to charge because they're line of sight. So again, like one of the Guardians comes in first, so what dies first? The Zug just takes over and it causes deaths. So someone gets knocked in the room there, Grizz gets knocked in, dies, and they're not able to res him with where he died too close to the boss. So really unfortunate, we're just kind of a time waster. So we'll skip through that. Bug Trio went well, not really much to mention there. Horde side, people like to talk about hard mode Horde side, and it's true, but some parts of Aq40 I would argue are much easier for Horde side. Aq40 is like the one out of the four that I would like strongly say there are some real benefits to being Horde side. Just in general, being able to cleanse poisons, very powerful on Bug Trio. And Vis coming up. So anyways, just going to continue moving forward here. Again, Bug Trio, not much to mention. Tremor Totem's really powerful as well in this raid. So anyways, here's where it gets rough. Again, these mobs, I feel like people are just not standing deep in that corner well and pressing their back pedal. They're just like feeling like they're against a wall, and that's good enough. And it's not good enough. That's the problem. It's definitely not good enough. So different positioning where they try on the other side here, I guess. But each time the problem is just like people are just not in the corners. can pretty easy visually see it. And healers don't want to be near it. Casters want to be all far away so that they can heal consistently. So yeah, I feel like a Mooner did it well here. It's definitely how you want to do it, but still got knocked out and almost died. I don't know. I don't really like that side. I liked where that corner was over there and just backpedaling. But again, killing them at the same time and making sure casters are at range, key understandings. Two separate groups on these packs. The next one I think was another rough one. Where did they pull it back to? Yeah, this one was rough, I think. I think this positioning is kind of weird. I don't really like this spot. I think either going up into this corner or even farther back. Okay, they go into this corner. But do they actually go in the corner? Like where Munir is right here, I feel like he's not fully in. You gotta backpedal. Get real deep. Okay, now he's in. Like everyone else that's getting knocked around. I feel like a mage is getting knocked around, that's taking away. Like lots of people that shouldn't be getting hit are getting knocked around there. So our turret went well, gonna go skip through that. Moving forward. Not much to mention on this next boss, we're just skipping through. So one thing to mention here is I think that on this trash, it's important to focus the skull first. The call was made to just AoE down the little bugs, and that's not the main focus. The main focus is killing skull really quickly so that it never charges twice. They're still able to have really strong damage at this point, where that's happening. They're only getting one charge each time a lot of the time, which is the goal. But again, AoEing down the little bugs doesn't matter. All that matters is killing these stingers really quickly. Huhu went well, besides Zamunir. Um, this pull was kind of weird. You gotta stay far back on Huhu. It's a really big aggro radius. So props to Munir for stepping up quickly. Like, I don't think that he was necessarily originally going to be taking this, but Tiggles has died at this point, and he's full world buffed with DMF and rank 14 gear, so definitely Pumper all set to go. I don't know how much left he has on his nature pot. Maybe could have pre-popped that a little bit earlier, but I would have used a stone shield. I don't see any. Okay, he does have stone shields. So yeah, I understand being in the moment, like gotta generate threat. Maybe this is a horde side thing where you mighty rage on this boss, but I personally would stone shield or put on a shield or life giving gem or have last stands, like one of the four. Um, or use your Hellstone. Keybind your Hellstone and use your Hellstone instead of just saying, "Where were the heals?" So let's see the upcoming kill where were the heals is called out. He does have Diamond Flask. I'm not sure if he uses any sort of heal set for Diamond Flask here. I don't think so. Again, the difference with Horde side and Alliance side is the threat differential more than anything else. So definitely have to try and generate more, which can be tough. But yeah, people are just kind of close there. So yeah, props to him for not getting caught in a healer set. Maybe he has something, but I mean, there was no time to swap to a healer set for that. But I would have liked giving Gem on this fight for sure. And again, he has to Mighty Rage at the start. He gets good threat. Props to him for pumping on the threat. Um, but yeah, you're just going to see kind of a slow tick down here over a couple seconds. Where definitely had time to use some sort of defensive. Boom, 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 dead. Only one that died though, so not the end of the world. This trash I thought went pretty well overall. Not much to mention here. I thought it was well understood. Let's see how Beater dies here. So tough combo, Meteor and Thunderclap. So this is the scariest combo. Beater just pulled thread, it looked like. Rip. Another tough one. Thunderclaps are scary. Yeah, this is a tough. The problem for Horde side is how they really are reliant on that chain heal. So shamans, as quick as possible, have to get themselves planted and start pumping those chain heals out. And when you're starting out as one group and then going to two, it's scary. So there's kind of no real good answer here. It's just figuring out the coordination of how they want to do these pulls. And on to the next one. I think a big thing is having everyone be ready to use Healthstones and a nature pot or pre-popping fire pots, and then just blasting through these packs, killing them so fast that you don't have to deal with many mechanics. Okay, so we're on to where it got rough and where a somewhat decent little scuff raid turns into Giga Scuff. So my first big thing to say is the start of the pull. I would not have the Warlock on the other side try and drag the boss to start. The Warlock on the other side, all they should do is just cast at the start, pump, and when the first swap happens, that's when the melee tank will drag it back and get it more into position. I think that just works a lot better. A little bit tougher on Horde side in terms of like some shamans might have to put their totems down or something, but I just think that that's a much cleaner process normally. Where this boss is, it's just, I don't know. In general, what happens over and over here is that there isn't always someone really in close proximity to the boss. Right there, Bigster was closer to the boss than Shard, so just runs to Bigster and kills him. And then from here just gets a little scuffed. So just having that really clean opener where a tank is always the closest person to the boss, that's really the name of the game. Um, Things got extra scuffed here where Shard got rezzed right there, and the boss still it's like a weird buggy boss where the boss swaps sides, but if the res happens, it still will keep that threat from the previous side. It's supposed to be a threat reset each time it swaps, but it's just weird when reses happen sometimes. So have to be very careful when you res on this fight. It's one of those things you can really only do it when the boss is on the correct side and very quickly in the moment top them off so they don't get one shot. So yeah, this at this point gets super scuffed. And over like the next minute here, they're just kind of doing weird things. I mean, it was still recoverable at this point, but the tanks just kind of drip down over and over and over. So I'm not sure. We could look at logs. Pretty easy for me to see a lot of the times that tanks don't have stone shields on, like we saw with the Mooner before. So that's just like my main thing to point out. Stone shields, I know they're not cheap, but they really are the savior on Twin Imps when it comes to tanking. Got to be in a little bit more mid gear. But yeah, demo shout and just hope and pray. Always make sure there's at least another person nearby so that the main tank doesn't also get hit by the unbalancing strike. So yeah, it just gets kind of weird and falls apart. I would say that was much more on the melee side than the warlock side of things. And yeah, just making sure the tank is closest one to the boss. That's the number one thing. So there's a couple more wipes coming up here. Other thing to mention that I'll just keep saying is the importance of using defensives, having those health stones ready to go, just being on the ball with staying alive. That's what it's all about. So I think we're just going to watch at 70% to start. Amir has a little bit of lag sometimes, sorry. So it got weird there. I feel like there just wasn't someone always closest to the boss here. The Warlock shouldn't worry about trying to get super close each time. That was something that was called out more. Don't worry about that. At each time, just make sure that the warrior tank is the closest person to the boss, like throughout this whole fight. That is the number one advice that I have. right? But not too close. Right there, the warrior tank was too close, and then the boss does a knockback, and then the tank gets knocked far away, and it gets really bad. And it's over. So I think there's maybe one more wipe, or that's it. Yeah, another wipe. Okay, we're watching at 40% here. Demo shot falls off. No demo shot. Oh, it's back on. So the boss looks like it's healing a bit, maybe? Yeah, I just feel like Shard is not getting healed a whole ton. Lots of times you're seeing chain heals going out and it's only hitting the tank. Shamans just have to do more. Not sure how many healers were on each side. It kind of looks like there's only like 3 healers on this side. Or not, I mean, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe there's more. I don't know. They're digging deep at this point, kind of and it just falls apart. So they pull it together in the final one. That's great. No more wipes. No more real huge disasters, I would say. Actually, that's a lie. Yeah. Uh, Cracked me up once they killed Cthulhu. Gishul just had to mention they had still had to do Visk. So the problem at this point is that not everyone has mounts. It takes a lot longer to get around. So going from Cthulhu back to Visk does take some time. Cthulhu, I don't feel like there's a whole ton to mention. We can talk about learnings at Cthulhu at a different point, but Visk, yeah, let's just watch the disaster. My assumption, I'm not going to go into the audit too much. My assumption is that some people don't have frost weapons. Shout out to Amunir who does. But what I'm seeing here is a whole bunch of glances. Looks like that the frost hits are still applying in a lot of cases, but it looks to me like potentially weapon skill is still being applied here. So that's also one thing to mention first time you're doing Visk, is making sure that you have weapon skill. I would imagine some people are largely useless on this fight because they were not prepared in that sense. So here's the most critical part of this, is swapping back to your correct weapons, killing the blobs. So pop Deathwish like early so that you can Deathwish during this and just blast these blobs down. They just had way too much health going into this. So all the blobs lived here on this side. Needed a lot more melee DPS on that side, just like 2-3 more melee DPS that were just blasting down those blobs, and it would have been a fine, easy kill. But instead of that, it's a much longer kill, pronounced, and when that happens, a raid is just tapped at this point. They don't have much left. Everyone's completely and it gets rough here. So raid is just gonna now all tick down and die. They pull it off the second time, it's much cleaner. Sappers are better, but I feel like people always hyper focus on the sappers way too much. They're like just obsessed with the sappers. And it's like, just, you have so many melee, just cleave and kill the slimes better. Make sure that you're using your Death Wish here. Like there's like 3 or 4 people using their Death Wish. You want to use it early, like before the slimes come up, and then by the time Visk starts coming up again, Death Wish is over and it's easy peasy. So just some thoughts, and making sure that the tank picks it up quickly. So making sure that you always have a BT, maybe use your life-giving gem, that kind of stuff, as the tank so you can pick this boss up quickly again. I'm not sure if demo's up, but anyways, little bit of a yap. Hope you guys have fun in Aq40 on Horde side. GG's.